people? Welcome to another hobby drive. Let me turn down this AC just a touch. That way it's not so loud coming through the speaker here, maybe. But yeah, so headed out on a Wednesday, or no, not Wednesday. I should say a Thursday morning. Can't even keep track of what day it is, actually. So, yeah, Thursday morning, headed out to work, and yeah, just wanted to stop by and touch base and, kind of talk a little bit more about what I mentioned yesterday. So, yesterday in my first hobby drive in quite some time, I mentioned that I've been buying, some kind of non-sports stuff and things like that. And I believe I mentioned that I've been sending some of it for grading or whatever. So, just to let you know, kind of like what I've been doing is, I've been a big fan of COMC for quite some time now. I've been, buying, selling on there for, I don't know, 5-6 years, maybe, something like that. I think I might have I started buying on there before I started selling on there. I think I might have started buying on there around 2017, 2018 is when I started buying on there. I think I started selling on there the same year, but like later in the year. So anyway, but yeah, so been buying, selling on there for like, around 6 years. So recently what I've been doing is I've been more into non-sports collecting than sports, like baseball collecting recently. And quite honestly, the reason why is because, I mainly collect vintage now in terms of actual sports. And for me, like, with vintage, I just kind of wait around. I don't sit there and, it's not like me chasing something modern and trying to have to stay up to date constantly to chase this parallel, that parallel, all of that. Like, I don't have to do that. I simply go online and I say, let's say I'm looking for Stan Musial. I go online, I type in Stan Musial, and I just see what's available. And because it's vintage, and because, I don't have a huge vintage collection, there are a lot of holes and gaps that I can fill in anywhere. And like I said, I'm not chasing parallels and all of that, so, I don't have to be super specific a lot of times. A lot of the time, I can quite simply just say, like, oh, man, freaking 1963 tops. Okay, cool, I need that one. I don't. I have that one. Although I would buy another one, depending on the grade and stuff like that, and the price. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, the way I collect with vintage and stuff, I don't have to worry about always just sitting there constantly looking. Now, one of the reasons why I've gotten more into the non-sports end of things recently is just because, there's a lot of cool, singers and actors and actresses and all of that that I follow in terms of their work. I don't look at TMZ or whatever and all that kind of shit, like, sitting there trying to read life stories and all that, but I'll listen to their music, or I will watch their movies or TV shows. So I've been buying that stuff, and what I've been doing is, in particular, I've been buying on COMC, and I have been submitting to grading through them. Now, I've only done this twice, okay? I've submitted one vintage baseball card, and I've submitted one non-sports card that I bought. I have some other non-sports cards that I want to submit. I just haven't yet. And that's something else I'm doing. I'm just kind of like slow rolling that. It's like, okay, once every 2 or 3 weeks, send one off. Once every 2 or 3 weeks, send one off. That way I'm not dropping, large sums of money at one time. I'm, spending $20 every 2 or 3 weeks, spreading it out, stuff like that. But yeah, I started doing this grading through them because I find it kind of interesting. And, they have two options. They have CSG and they have PSA. Now, I know probably most people would be sending their stuff to PSA because that's generally where the most, money or biggest return comes. But for me, these are personal collection items, and I want them slabbed. And to be quite honest, I prefer the look of the CSG slabs with the black labels over PSA now. I used to like PSA more than CSG because of the labels, but now I've flipped. I prefer the actual CSG labels or flips over the PSA ones. And also CSG is a little bit cheaper in terms of like sending it to grade. The turnarounds are a little faster. Like, there are all of those things that kind of play a factor into it as well. And what I've done is, like I said, I've only submitted 2 cards. I submitted one exactly 1 month ago today. Okay, so, and I submitted it via I believe it was the 50-day service. Of course, COMC says, like, we're going to take an extra week or so to get it there and a week or so to get it back. So really, instead of 50 days, you're probably looking at more like 70 days. So I guess I'm probably about halfway there on that card. So yeah. And then the other one that I submitted, I actually submitted basically a month later. And what I mean by a month later is like not quite a month later. I submitted one on the 5th of last month, and I submitted another one on the 25th of last month. Now, that means technically both of these, and the one that I submitted on the 25th of last month, I went with the 30-day service, which was $3 more, $3 more, because I wanted to see what, I was going to submit it at the 50, but I decided, you know what, it's pretty much almost 1 month exactly difference, so I wanted to do a little experiment, see how it turned out, because I was like, well, if this one was submitted, roughly 20 days ago, and I submit one for 30 days, and the one that was submitted 20 days ago was for 50 days, it's like technically they should come back at the same time, pretty much. I was like, so let's see what happens. Let's see if one is faster than the other in terms of like, getting through the system and all of that. And that may influence in the future, like which choice I want to make. Like I said, they are PC items. So, it's not like I have to have them, but at the same time, I'm one of those people that I feel kind of uncomfortable when something is out of my possession, even though things at COMC are out of my possession because they're holding them. But I don't worry about that. But what I'm saying, like stuff traveling via mail and here and there and from this person to that person, I kind of sometimes get a little just don't know what's going to happen. Because I've had bad experiences, as we all have, with things like shipping stuff. We've had stuff get lost. We've had stuff get damaged. We all have had it, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm just kind of like, the quicker I can get it out there and the quicker I can get it back, the more comfortable I feel with it. So depending on how it turns out, I could, do the 30-day more often, or if it takes, like longer, then I might end up doing the 50-day more often. We'll see. So kind of an experiment with that. But yeah, so the 30-day was the vintage card, vintage Lubrock card actually, in a Cubs uniform. And then the other was a non-sports Topps card, is what it was. So yeah, so I submitted that, and actually I'm really interested to see how it comes back. So it'll be cool to see what happens with that one. The Lubrock, it's going to come back a lower grade, and I honestly think it's probably going to be like a 2. But I don't know. That's another thing I wanted to see about this whole grading experience, because I can't, these cards are at COMC, so I can't touch them, I can't look at them, I can't, so, I have to buy these cards without ever seeing them physically. So it might have a bit of a crease that doesn't show up in the scan. Hell, it might have a big crease that doesn't show up in the scan. I don't know. The corners could be better or worse because they don't show up in the scan. By the way, headed through a tunnel right now on the way to work, so that's why we're dark. We're back out of the tunnel now. So yeah, so I don't know how this is gonna end up in terms of like that, by not being able to see them. Just kind of like guessing based off of pictures. I mean, I can see the centering. Centering looked okay on both of the cards. I wouldn't say that either one of them had perfect centering, but they had reasonable centering, very reasonable, in my opinion. But that's kind of about the only thing you can really see on, scans from COMC. Now I know that COMC offers a pre-grading service where they charge you like $5, I guess, and give you like an estimate of what it's gonna grade. I guess, maybe. I don't know exactly how that works either. But at the same time, these are PC cards. I wasn't interested in that. If it was like, say, some card that potentially was going to be like super, super valuable, graded really high, and it wasn't a PC item, yeah, maybe I would send it off to that, because, I might want to get an opinion before I send it off. Because, sometimes those cards can be worth, sending or not sending. PC items, if I feel like sending it, I think I should. Because, it's just part of the collection. And, yeah. Although, I don't know. I might actually, just come to think of it, I might actually just do like a pre-grade on one of the pre-war cards. Not a non-baseball, non-sports card. I might do a pre-grade on one of those just to see how that experience goes. Like I said, I think it's $5. Yeah, so who knows? We'll see. But anyway, interested to see how this goes. And by the way, I think my phone is kind of like turning around a little bit there, but all is good. But yeah, like I think I might get these back in about a month, maybe. I'm just guessing, about a month, because that gives the week or two on either end and stuff like that for shipping and whatnot. So yeah, so maybe in a month I'll have an update on this. Hopefully I will, and hopefully I've got some good results. I mean, the non-sports card that is, like a newer card, I hope for a 9 or a 10. I mean, like, of course, a 10 would be much preferred. 9, totally fine. The Lou Brock card, I honestly, to be quite honest, I'd hope for, say, like a 4, but realistically, I'm expecting like a 2, so, we'll see. Anyway, I'll keep all of you posted, and about to head into another tunnel here on the way to work this morning. By the way, I'm going to a different school than where I worked at yesterday, so I work at different places and stuff, so anyway. But yeah, so everyone, take it easy. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.